right, it's time for the Coaches Show here on CIH Media. And as always, we welcome in the head coach and general manager of the NA3HL's Bozeman Icedogs. Mike Perkins is here. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good. A little tired, obviously, from the weekend, and we're reeling a little bit from some of the weather that we've had the
Oh,
last several days. Quite a bit of snow, so the travel up to Great Falls yesterday was interesting in a few spots, but we made it up there in time and got back at a decent time last night.
well, I'm glad you made it up there and back safe. That's the most important part. 3 games in 3 days. I'm sure everybody's a little tired from the weekend, but you came away with 2 victories out of the 3 games. Yesterday up at Great Falls was a loss, but how's everybody holding up? It's Monday, it's an off day. How are you guys spending today?
We typically practice on Mondays if we don't play on Sundays. It's typically a skill day for us, and we do a lot of shooting, passing, stick handling, skating type stuff on Mondays. But we decided to take today off, and we're working on potentially doing a pre-skate on Friday morning on game day. So the guys are doing good. They were in good spirits when they left the locker room after unloading the bus last night, and I think they're ready to get back to work and get back to it. Obviously, we're a bit disappointed in the outcome yesterday. We felt like we deserved a little bit of a better ending, but you got to score more than one goal to win a hockey game. And well, you don't have to score more, technically, but I think for us, if we're clipping along at about 4 goals a game plus, more times than not, we're going to win hockey games. And when we only score one, that's just not a good recipe for our success.
Well, your math checks out because you scored 4 on both Friday and Saturday, and those were both victories over Yellowstone. You're now 4-0 this year against the Quakes. So what did you like, especially in that first game? Came out of the gate, 3 goals in the first period. What was clicking for those first 2 games over the weekend?
I think we came out with some energy, obviously, and got on the board early and often. We did a lot of good things. We had some depth scoring, so it wasn't our top lines that were getting the goals in game one there on Friday night. So that was good to see some of those guys in our bottom 6 forward group and our third and fourth, fifth and sixth defensemen get in the mix when it comes to the scoring. And when that starts happening and we get everybody clicking all at the same time, then from a coaching perspective, you would expect probably our top 6 forwards to get anywhere from 3 to 5 goals a game ballpark, right? And then our bottom 6 forwards would generate somewhere from 1 to 2, and on a night in, night out basis, that puts us at 4+ goals a game.
You guys had over 40 shots in all 3 games over the weekend, over 50 early on in those 2 games against Yellowstone. What is it about the offense right now that seems to be clicking?
I think we all know what our plan of attack is and how we're supposed to be attacking the offensive net. And I think it's just, we got to do a little better job of bearing down and being ready for our chances offensively. And I think that, that comes with some time. I think in some ways this is not unexpected to kind of have a little bit of an early push and then we start working on some details and try to zero some things in for the second half of the season that maybe we might have a little bit of a struggle here or there at times, but we definitely came out on fire on Friday night and got after it.
Let's talk about the goaltending a little bit. Matthew Reinen had a heck of a first 2 games, only gave up the 1 goal in those 2 games against Yellowstone. What'd you see from him in those 2 opening games?
Matthew's for as much as a junior hockey player can be, he's a real pro at the way he approaches things. He's super mature and driven. And, I think for him, it's been, he came in on a trade in the off season, and, we knew that we wanted a guy like him in our lineup, and he's definitely worked towards being the player that he knows that he can be, and the player that we want him to be as well.
And not a bad performance from Sean Smurr either on well yesterday in that game up at Great Falls. I know 3 got by, but like you said, the chances were there that just didn't work out for you. What about his performance yesterday on the road?
Yeah, I thought Sean made some real good saves. Made a save in the second period on when we were killing a penalty that was huge. Gave us an opportunity to stay in the game. Uh, I thought, Sean coming off, he hasn't played in a couple weeks. He's coming off an injury himself. So I think to get him back in the lineup was huge on our part. We need him to be at his best and at his top shape for us to be the best team that we can be. So it was good to get him back in the lineup. He's not just a goalie either. He's got some leadership with our group, and he's got personality too. So in the locker room, he's definitely a good person to have in the mix on a night in night out basis.
All right, put those 3 games in the past. It was nice to get 4 points out of the mix. Now we look ahead to the games coming up this weekend, 2 against Butte. What do you know about the Irish, and what's your assessment heading into the games this weekend?
Yeah, they're going to be very much what they were last year. They're going to work very hard. They got good size. They're a big team. Uh, Friday night we'll play them at home, and then Saturday night in Butte. Their rink is a little bit smaller, a little bit more confined. So I think that size would definitely benefit them. So we're going to have to use our speed and our skill and our ability to make plays to be able to compete against them. We're looking forward to it. These are big games for us. These close games are huge. Whether it be a Helena, Great Falls, or Butte, we play those 3 teams 8 times during the season. So, as far as Great Falls goes, it's hold serve. We've won 1 at home. They've won 1 at home. We got 6 more to go with them. So it'll be a good test this weekend to see where we're at with Butte, and exciting for the guys to get another group of players across from them that they haven't seen yet. So we're excited to get that going, and obviously hit the week here with practice starting tomorrow morning, and workouts on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then a tune up on Thursday, and hopefully a pre skate on Friday morning. If we can get that in, that'd be great. And get the guys on the ice and get them ready for Friday night and Saturday night.
Interesting point you made there. Some people may not realize that no 2 rinks are made exactly alike. And if Butte has a bit of a smaller rink, what do you do to coach the team knowing that maybe the rink isn't exactly the same dimensions as what you're used to playing on?
Yeah, well, we faced that last night in Great Falls. We were killing a penalty in the second period, and we gained possession of the puck. Sean Smear got the puck and he fired it out of play. We ended up getting a penalty on it, and they scored on the 5-on-3. Their glass on the half walls are very short. So this was a little bit of a contention point last night when discussing with the referees, that the rules, although they don't state that in a rink like Great Falls, that rule would be nullified because of the non-regulation size glass. It doesn't state anything in the USA Hockey rule book for that. But typically in a rink like that, referees don't make that call because the size of the glass is not regulation. So we will face the same thing in Butte. Their glass is low. The ice is pretty hard in Butte, so the puck will move pretty quickly on the ice. And the confines of the Butte community center, we'll have to go in there and make some adjustments on that end of it. But I think for the guys that have been here, and we've talked about this before, is that the guys that have been in that building before, they know that, and hopefully they'll pass along some of that information to the guys that haven't played there.
So interesting that home ice advantage is not just confined to not having, or having to travel, or there's rink dimensions.
Well, obviously different than NHL, because they've made that adjustment in the NHL where all the rinks are the exact same size of the glass, length, width, all that stuff is the same. So there's no advantage from an ice service standpoint, which it used to be in the old days. In fact, the old Boston Garden, I'm not sure the exact dimensions, but the standard size of an NHL sheet today is 200 by 85. And I'm pretty sure that that the length of the Boston Garden was like 185, and it surely wasn't 85 across. It was more like 80, 78, 79, 80, somewhere in there. So of course they had bigger teams and played a little bit of a rougher style of hockey in Boston in those days, and it benefited them. So that's kind of been the transformation of hockey across the world. And there was a time too where a lot of facilities were being built as Olympic size sheets, where it was 200 to 210 length by 100 width, and I actually played college hockey on a rink like that, and there is a huge difference there. In fact, I used to tease people all the time that I preferred to play on a NHL regulation size or even smaller sheet, because when I beat a defenseman out of the corner, I was on top of the net quickly. On an Olympic sheet, the defenseman had time to catch me getting to the front of the net. So I think that some of those things have been the development and progression of the game of hockey and the NHL, and I'm pretty sure the AHL as well has made those standard changes that all the rinks will conform to that same sizing. Whereas, in junior hockey, we haven't quite made that transition yet to making that across the board. So we're definitely gonna have to face that in Butte. Their rink is a little bit smaller, the glass is lower, and we'll have to deal with that when we play Saturday night.
Yeah, Butte's the last team you've yet to face in the Frontier Division as this season is in its early stages. All right, let's rewind the clock a little bit too. I want to talk about last Monday. I think it was just after you and I did last week's episode. The team got to get together, have a nice community event at Haynes Pavilion with Eagle Mount Bozeman. Talk a little bit about that event and why it's so important for the team to stay connected to the community.
Yeah, anything that we can do within the community is fantastic. Eagle Mount does a great job with special needs people and the special needs kids at the community schools. So in fact, that day, their group that came to skate at Haynes Pavilion, and we were on the wrestler rink at Haynes Pavilion, they brought students, special needs students from Bozeman High School and Gallatin High School, which we have a few players that actually attend those schools. So it was nice. The guys had a great time. They did a really good job, and what a great connection for us with Eagle Mount. They do a fantastic job, and there's some really, really good people. So we had a great time with them.
That's awesome to hear. I saw some of the pictures that were posted on social media. I don't think it's any secret that I'm not up there in Montana, but looked like a really cool event, and love when the team gets to connect with the community. For those of you interested, by the way, like Mike said, Eagle Mount does some great work. You can go to eaglemount.org, and if you are so inclined, you can donate to their cause. So please check that out. And you can see some of the photos that were posted on the Bozeman Icedogs Instagram account from last week. So really awesome stuff there. Coach,
in this week we're actually going to go to tomorrow night from 4 to 6. We're going to be at the Gallatin Valley Mall. Our whole team will be there. We'll be in our jerseys for the Gallatin Valley Mall Halloween, and we'll be handing out candy to kids in a safe environment for them to come to the mall, and obviously for us get a chance to meet our players and be around our guys, which is pretty awesome. So anybody that's available and out there, we'd love to see you over at the mall tomorrow night from 4 to 6 p.m.
I'm gonna, now that you mentioned that, gonna go into the two most important questions I will ask you all season long. You can already sense the sarcasm in my voice.
Yes,
I love it.
that's loaded.
What's the go-to Halloween costume? I don't know if you're dressing up this year, or if you dress up anymore, but what was the go-to?
Football player.
Me too. What?
Yep.
Really?
Yes, football player. And actually it's I will tell you this, and you're gonna get a kick out of this. One year I made my mom draw a New England Patriot logo on a white helmet, that football helmet that I had, and I was a New England Patriot for a year. But every other year, which all my relatives will be very upset to hear that. But every other year I was definitely a Green Bay Packer.
Right, right, of course. Now I'm assuming that logo was Pat Patriot too, right? Not the Flying Elvis logo they have now,
No,
but
no,
the old
it
one.
was the old one. It
That's
was the old.
it's a lot
Yeah,
more complicated to draw.
it is very complicated, and bless my mother's heart for doing that for her son. But definitely was a New England Patriot for Halloween one year.
That's too funny. All right, more important question. What's the candy of choice for the Iceman?
Oh, anything chocolate. I got a bad sweet tooth, so anything chocolate would do. No coconut. Uh, anything chocolate, caramel, something in there.
All right. Well, as the world's biggest Mounds and Almond Joy fan, you hurt my heart a little bit there, but that's okay. I'll let you get away with the no coconut. As we like to do when we get to the end of the show here, open up the floor to Coach. Is there anything you want to talk about as you head into these 2 games against Butte?
Yeah, I think we have to continue doing what we've been doing. Yesterday, although we came up short, we outchanced Great Falls, we outshot Great Falls. Uh, we need to shore up a few things defensively, but we definitely need to start converting on our opportunities. And there was plenty of chances. We had chances, and just because it was a 3-game weekend, doesn't mean that on Sunday we can take it easy, no matter how difficult it is. In fact, I told the boys in the locker room before the game the old Larry Bird story about getting stranded in Indianapolis before they went to Philly, and there was a snowstorm and they didn't get into Philly till late, so they couldn't go to the hotel first, and they've been eating airport food all day long, and they went into Philly, and obviously Larry Bird gave a couple of choice words to the rest of the team, and he said he was going to go out and kick some butt, and of course he did. So on a game day like that, that's I usually go to a Larry Bird story.
I love it. I love it. Well, at least you only have to do the 3 games in 3 days one more time this year. It'll be at the end of November. But one more, and then that's enough of that. And then you get back to the normal cadence.
Yeah, we're obviously those are some of the things that come into play when during scheduling during the summertime. But those are things that teams are going to have to overcome, and everybody's got their own deal, whether it's a shorter break at holidays, or if it's a longer break at holidays, or if you have no breaks across the course of the season, or if you have a couple breaks. Everybody's got their own things to deal with, and we have ours, and we have to use those as opportunities to come together as a group and find ways to compete and win hockey games.
Exactly. And hopefully they continue there on that win streak going into the 2 this weekend against Butte. Don't forget, you can follow along with the Bozeman Icedogs on social media at Bozeman Icedogs on both Instagram and Facebook. You can follow us here at CIH Media at CIH Media on Instagram, X, and Facebook. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button here as you're watching the show on youtube.com/@CIH Media, or you can watch episodes on CIH Media as well. Go to CIH-media.com. Coach, thanks for the time as always. We'll talk to you next week, and good luck in the 2 games this weekend.
Thanks, Eric. We'll see you next Monday.